Scitame Learning, April 18th, Civic Math, Delaware, Part 2. In Part 1, we saw how decisions are made. 21 representatives, 11 votes. But what happens when the decisions cannot be made? Today, we go inside the moment when everything was stuck. But before we start, let's examine 3 prominent leaders from Delaware. There were Caesar Rodney, Thomas McKean, and George Reed. And let's see a little bit what these prominent leaders were. Caesar Rodney was born October 7th, 1728 in Kent County, Delaware. He died June 26, 1784 in Kent County, Delaware. He was the 4th president of Delaware, which is the modern-day equivalent of governor. So governor of Delaware. That was back in the colonial time, so he was a president. And he was a major in the Delaware militia. He was a plantation owner, political leader, but he suffered from asthma and had facial cancer. He was a strong supporter of independence. The second gentleman we are going to examine is Thomas McKean. He was born March 19th, 1734 in New London Township, Pennsylvania. He died June 24th, 1817 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was the 2nd governor of Pennsylvania. He was Chief Justice of Pennsylvania Supreme Court. He was a lawyer, highly educated, and he also strongly supported independence. And the last gentleman we are going to address is George Reed. He was born September 18th, 1733 in Cecil County, Maryland, and died September 21st, 1798 in Newcastle, Delaware. He was the Chief Justice of Delaware. He was U.S. Senator from Delaware, and he was 3rd governor of Delaware. He was a wealthy lawyer, but he was a little more cautious, conservative mindset. He was worried about the consequences of independence. Rodney, McKean, and Reed all represented Delaware to vote for independence in Philadelphia in June of 1776. Of these 3 leaders, McKean was a yes, Reed was a no, and Rodney was absent. If that is the case, nothing happens. No majority, no decision. Without a majority, Delaware cannot act. And if Delaware does not act, the push for independence weakens. The decision was really time sensitive and it had to be taken care of right away. This was not just a vote, this was momentum. Other colonies were moving. Delaware could not hesitate. Then comes in Rodney. Now in June of 1776, while the debate for independence was taking place in Philadelphia, Rodney was absent. McKean was there, Reed was there, but McKean was a yes, Reed was a no. This was a tie. It had to be broken. So what happened? Rodney, while in Dover, he heard about the tie, and he had to break that tie. So he rode, let's say, about 70 to 80 miles from Dover, Delaware, to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Let's not forget, this was a one man, a sick man, an exhausted man who rode through the night, not for comfort, not for recognition, but because without his vote, there is no decision. 1 to 2. Now, if it's a yes, Delaware passed. If it's a no, Delaware didn't pass. So he arrived. When he arrived, he voted yes. The numbers changed, and Delaware decided. Before ideas spread, they must first win at the right moment. In Delaware, it didn't start with a crowd. It started with a tie. And it was decided by one vote that could not wait. On a side note, Rodney had some Italian heritage. So that made him one of the first elected official in American politics of a person of Italian ancestry. Just as a side note. If you learn something, share this with just one person, because we know we don't grow faster linearly, we grow exponentially. Thank you for watching, and this concludes the part on Delaware. We'll see you next time.